We've got a big Rams injury update, when we could see tight end Tyler Higbee back on the active roster. And we've got winners and losers from the Rams' Thursday Night Football win over the San Francisco 49ers. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, join the party, join the fastest growing Rams YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the channel, hit that like button. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I am flying solo. The People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers, he's out today. But we got a jam-packed show. We're doing winners and losers from the Rams win on Thursday Night Football, and we've got a big injury update on Tyler Higbee. But first, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So it's been a while since we've seen Tyler Higbee, and Tyler Higbee's been a rock for this organization. He holds essentially every single record as far as Rams tight ends, and they could use him back in a big way. And just to rewind, the last time we saw Tyler Higbee was in the wild card game earlier this season against the Detroit Lions, and let's just be honest about it. It was a dirty play by Detroit Lions safety Kirby Joseph. It was a low tackle, and it really was a bad knee injury. And he was out for the rest of the game. He's missed all this season. It was an ACL injury. He really tore up his knee there. And Sean McVay provided us with an update yesterday. He said about Tyler Higbee, we haven't made that move official, but all things that have gone on over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of had the expectation and the anticipation that that will be something that would be a move that we anticipate making. Now, none of it has been finalized yet, but with the progress that he's made over the last couple of weeks, the way that he's looked in practice, do expect him to be ready to go against the Jets. But don't want to put 100% stamp on that, but that is the plan. So that is big news. The Rams take on the Jets, and you got extra rest, 10 days in between games, and it's the perfect soft landing for Tyler Higbee. You don't have him in a game where it's a rivalry game against the 49ers on Thursday Night Football in inclement weather. It's not against the Bills or anything like that. Sure, if they were desperate, they could have rushed him back. But I think the timing with him, the fact that he's a veteran, the fact that the injury was as gruesome as it was, I love this game for him to return because, two, against this Jets defense with Matthew Stafford, too, you want to ease him into things. And you look at his season in 2023, at 47 catches, 495 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the best thing about Tyler Higbee is he brings that familiarity. He brings that effort every single play. He knows the offense as well as anyone does. And he's been an absolute rock for Sean McVay all the way back since 2017. So he's been someone they can count on every single snap that he's in there, not just as a pass catcher, not just as a red zone threat, but as a run blocker. His run blocking skills are so important. His blocking skills in general are so important. And then his ability to be that safety valve for Matthew Stafford, to be another weapon that he can trust. Because last week, it was the Puka Nacua show. And while that's great because Puka's fantastic, no catches for Cooper Kupp. DeMarcus Robinson dropped the only pass that was intended for him. Colby Parkinson did make some catches, but you haven't gotten enough production from that tight end position this season. So Tyler Higbee comes right in, and depending on how he's moving and based on what you're hearing, he's looking really good in practice. then that could be an absolute asset at the perfect time while the Rams are surging and they're looking like one of the hottest teams in the NFL, winning 7 of their last 9 games. So, look, I love this move right now at this spot. Like I said, 1, blocking. 2, red zone threat. 3, third downs. A third down safety blanket, great for those situations. And I'm really excited because I think you come back right now, and we see sometimes in the past where Tyler Higbee kind of breaks down a little bit, and that's just kind of his style of play, just because of the way he goes about his business, the effort, how hard he plays. We're not going to have to worry about that if he's 100%. If he's 100%, you only have 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, how many games left for the Rams, right? It depends on how deep they go into the playoffs. But if you go in as a division winner, you don't need him for a full season or even half a season or anything like that. Let him go peak with 4 or 5 games, and that's something that can really, really help your offense. And I think another thing I want to see, too, is Parkinson getting more confidence. He got that big first down against the 49ers. You saw the catch radius, the height with him, and the ability to make plays. Look, I think that Parkinson, yes, it hasn't been what you expected or you had hoped for this entire season, but clearly you see why the Rams signed him, because he's a big target, he can make plays, and I definitely am intrigued at the possibility of seeing Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson in 12 personnel. So I think that's going to make this team more dangerous. I think it's going to make them more dynamic, and I think, too, we're going to see this Rams offense really from a passing standpoint surge while the running game has been holding it down as well. So, yeah, I mean, I really love this move. I really love the fact that he made it back, and I love the fact that they're bringing it back the way that he is and when he is. So, look, I mean, this is a perfect situation because sometimes Matthew Stafford, yes, you want to kind of take something. The expectation is that you're going to go to Puka Nacua in certain spots, but this will help keep Puka fresh as well. So Tyler Higbee going to be back against the New York Jets. Big news for Los Angeles Rams. And really, you look at the health across the board, you got to feel really good about where they're at this point of their season. Yes, Jonah Jackson hasn't quite worked out in the scapula injury, and that never came to fruition. And Bo Limmer, his production last week wasn't fantastic, and Steve Avalos is still getting better as he comes back from the injury. But Rob Havenstein, Kevin Dotson, I mean, Alec Jackson's been a rock all season. Kyron, Blake Corum, the injuries that really plagued the receivers early on, they have been a non-issue. So, look, I mean, sometimes in the NFL, it's really about who's hot at the right time. The Rams are playing with so much confidence, knowing that they're never out of any football game. They proved against the San Francisco 49ers that you can win in so many different ways. You can win a defensive battle. You can win on the ground where you're running clock and you're not even getting explosive run plays, right? I mean, the longest run play that Kyron Williams had was for 10 yards, but you're moving the chains, you're getting positive yardage, and then now they're getting a guy back that they know they can help this offense and really make things more dynamic and give Matthew Stafford another weapon to work with. So exciting news for Rams fans. Tyler Higbee, like I said, just great too. You got to feel good for the guy too, because that was a dirty play. I'm here to say it. And to make it all the way back, kind of in the latter stages of your career, there's no guarantees you're ever back on that field, and he's going to be back against the Jets. But coming up next, we got winners and losers from the Rams Thursday Night Football win over the San Francisco 49ers, where they ended their season. Well, I guess the 49ers have less than a 1% chance of making the playoffs, but we know SF stands for season finish because the Rams went up there and they took care of business. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. All right, I want to talk about a game I play almost every single day, and that's our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Now, The cool thing about Prize Picks is it's easy to use, it's fun, and you can make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account sports this season as well. And you can join because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Now, if you're an NBA fan, if you're an NFL fan, there's always something to play over at Prize Picks. Let's look at tonight. Lakers fans, you could go over, and it's more or less 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Anthony Davis tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Joel Embiid against the Pacers, more or less 29.5 points. Nikola Jokic, more or less 31.5 points. So if you got the hunch, if you got the feeling, it's more or less. Now you can download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's Locked On NFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And a reminder that today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite, and right now you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easier to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday and sometimes on the weekends. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also want to send a special shout out to those every listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. We thank you guys. And if you're not, join that Everyday Listeners Club. Anytime we drop a video, anytime we drop a pod, definitely listen, and then you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Rams. But here in our second segment, we got horns up, horns down, winners and losers from the Rams' big Thursday night football win against San Francisco 49ers. We're going to start with a winner, and that is Kyren Williams. So what I loved about Kyren Williams' game against San Francisco 49ers is you didn't see those big explosive plays. His longest run was 10 yards, but it was the consistency. It was those 3, 4, 5, 6-yard gains all throughout the night, and it allowed this Rams offense to stay on the field, keep the 49ers offense off the field, and also, I mean, he was out there putting in work as far as the workload goes. 29 carries for 108 yards, averaged just 3.7 yards per carry. That's not great, but it was exactly what this Rams offense needed. They did not put the ball in the end zone once. You had one explosive play for Puka Nacua later in the game, but really they needed this style of offense. It's just grind it out, gritty, on the ground. You got some Bay Area rain going down, and Kyren Williams was out there doing the thing. And also, another reason why he gets a winner, a horns up for me, is after the game, I love what he told reporters when he said that the Rams are the big brother now, and the 49ers are the little brother. So I love that. It's kind of like when your little brother goes off to college, and then you see him at Thanksgiving for the first time, and you guys are playing one-on-one, and you beat him pretty bad, and you're like, oh, things have changed. Well, yeah, things have changed. The Rams have won 3 straight against the San Francisco 49ers. They swept them in the regular season this year for the first time since 2018. And sure, Sean McVay struggled against Kyle Shanahan in the regular season, but you know it, I know it. and we know it, that the best sight was seeing that sea of red fill up those escalators. They needed more escalators in 2021 to fill up all those 49ers fans that were leaving the stadium when the Rams won the NFC Championship game. So, hey, they won the one that mattered. Let's just be honest about that. So shout out to Jaquiski Tartt. I still think that Sean McVay should have given him a game ball for dropping that interception in the 2021 NFC Championship game, but I digress. Now, next winner has to be Josh Carty. I gave him a game ball because he proved that, you know what, the Rams did make the right selection in picking him in the 2024 NFL draft, making him the highest drafted kicker in this draft. And I think with Joshua Carty, it's mental, it's confidence, it's not rushing the kick. And the biggest play for him was 48-yard kick to end the first half. It gets tipped at the line. You got rain pouring down, but he hit it so well that it still made its way through the uprights. That shows you how strong his leg is. And he had missed at least one kick in 4 of the Rams' past 5 games. So he was having some issues, and there was some doubt, but he cleared that up against San Francisco. He's getting his confidence back at the right time because they're going to need him, especially when you see this offense struggle in the red zone at times. He's got to be consistent. He has to be a guy that they can count on where they don't go for it on 4th down because they think that he can make it because points are so valuable in this league. He goes 4 for 4. He accounted for all 12 of the Rams' points against San Francisco, and he was just massive. So he was a huge winner. Another winner, Puka Nacua. He was great once again. He led the Rams with 97 yards receiving on 8 targets. He had a 51-yard catch. He had a 1 catch where you saw him bounce the ball on the helmet. I mean, he was just absolutely a monster once again. And I think, too, the big takeaway there, positive or negative, is the fact that he had 97 yards receiving. The next closest Rams receiver, yardage-wise, was Colby Parkinson with 21. So it wasn't a balanced effort, and Stafford was really targeting him and kind of locking onto him and going to him for the reason of, hey, this guy's going to make plays for me and step up. But also, he had a really nice block on Blake Corum's 12-yard catch, and he was also credited with an 8-yard run. He had a screen pass that was kind of a backwards pass, but still, he can do it all. And we know that Puka Nacua, the way he plays with that reckless abandon, that strength, that effort, that you want to make sure you're preserving him as well. But, I mean, that 51-yard bomb, they ended up not scoring a touchdown on it, but still got him in the red zone, and they were still able to capitalize with a kick. So, Puka, look, anyone that thought that last year was some fluke, there was some flash in the pan, no. Puka Nacua is one of the best receivers in the National Football League, and he's going to be for the foreseeable future. Now, next winner. Got some quick ones here. Ahkello Witherspoon. Ahkello has taken some heat since he returned with the Rams. And look, quite frankly, he wasn't playing his best ball, but he had a really nice game against San Francisco 49ers. And he had to step up with Kobe Durant missing the game. And he had really not played, essentially, in the last 2 games for the Rams. But he steps right in there. I think the coverage was sticky. I think he was out there really with something to prove, not just against his former team, but his current team. And the coach is knowing that, hey, if you put me in there, you can trust me as a veteran cornerback. He ended with 3 pass deflections on the night. So he was getting some pass breakups. He was out there making really nice plays. So very encouraging performance for Ahkello Witherspoon. Then Darius Williams, I mean, play of the game, honestly. You had Kobe Turner causing the pressure, and it's late in the 4th quarter, so 5 minutes to play. 49ers trailing by 3 at the 45-yard line, and Brock Purdy launches one for Juwan Jennings, and Darius Williams comes up with a big interception. It really was the play of the game on defense, and it was a huge reason why they were able to win that game in the 49ers season and really increase their playoff odds. So a huge play there by Darius Williams. And really the player of the game defensively, though, and the next winner is Kobe Turner. Next horns up goes to Kobe Turner. Kobe, he's just been amazing. He's been incredible. And yes, you don't fill the shoes of AD, but he's doing AD stuff in that he's the guy that has taken the torch to be that dominant player on the defensive line. Like I said, Aaron Donald's one of, if not the best defensive players ever. So, yeah, you're not going to be the next Aaron Donald, but you're softening the blow, and you're giving this team a chance because of your play to say, oh, it's not all for naught, right? You have a good enough defensive front with the depth and his play to say, hey, we can win football games with a defensive mindset without Aaron Donald. And he was in the backfield all night. He was good in the run game. He was rushing the passer. He was bringing the pressure. He had 2 sacks, 6 pressures. He also drew a holding penalty on a really nice interior rush move where he was getting in there, showing his strength, showing his just absolute ferocious, relentless effort. And I think another big thing is not just getting sacks, is when you get those sacks. He had 2 sacks on third downs that ended 49ers drives. So those were huge. I mean, anytime you get sacks on third down, that's massive. It keeps the 49ers off the field, gets the Rams the ball back. So huge, huge. So 5 total tackles. And like I said, that pressure that he had on Brock Purdy kind of rushed that throw a little bit and led to that interception by Darius Williams. Now, if you're going to go back and watch this game, go to the Rams social media and watch the highlight they posted of Kevin Dotson. Kevin Dotson rocking the Guardian cap. I kind of like it, man. I don't know why. It just makes him look meaner for some reason. Makes him look a little more intimidating, just to me. But Kevin Dotson, he had a 90 PFF grade, and that was mainly because of his run blocking, because he did allow 3 pressures, had a 44.8 pass protection grade, but when you're that good in the run game, it more than makes up for it. He was basically a Mack truck. The Rams posted a video where he was pushing guys down. They had the beep, beep, like a Mack truck horn, because he was just dominating, pushing guys out, getting into the second level, road grade style. So he was massive. So K-Dot, what a performance by him. Couple more winners. Christian Roseboom, got to shine a light on him. He was really playing with his hair on fire. He was just all over the field, making plays, doing the dirty work, ends up with 9 tackles, and he ends up with that game-ending sack on the final play. On the Hail Mary attempt, it was blitzing Roseboom there. Credit to Chris Schuler for being aggressive in that situation when most teams are content to rush 3, rush 4, and just let everyone get back in coverage. No, they got aggressive, and they sent Roseboom, and he gets the sack there. And then Jared Verse, want to give him a little horns up, just because he did have 5 pressures, didn't end up in any sacks, but give you a horns up for physically still looking like a NFL veteran, essentially, not a rookie right now at this stage of his rookie season. This late in the season, he looks like he still has a lot left in the tank and that he's going to be big for this team, and he has not hit that rookie wall. So definitely give him a win for that. But coming up next, horns down, we got the losers who didn't have their best game against the 49ers on Thursday Night Football. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. All right, let's talk about FanDuel. NFL fans, you could start this season with a big return on FanDuel. Of course, America's #1 sportsbook. If you get a hunch in the middle of the game and you think now may not be a bad time to get in there and check out all the latest stats, you can view live play-by-play. And, of course, there's so much more on the same page where you're placing your bets. So we're going to get you started at FanDuel with a $200 bonus bets. That's $200 bonus bets guaranteed when you play your first $5 bet. Now, let me say that one more time. $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Now let's see what's going on over at FanDuel. And after last night's win, the Rams are the favorites to win the NFC West at -105. So that big win already puts the Rams as the favorites to win the division. The Seahawks are right behind them at +105 and the Cardinals at +1100. So your Rams are in good shape today, have to keep winning, but right now they are the favorites. So you can find this stuff and so much more over at FanDuel. You go to FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app on your phone, and you're getting started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday and sometimes on the weekends. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Also, a big happy holidays to the Ramily out there. Just want to say that before we start our third segment. But here in our third segment, we got the losers who did not have their best game against the 49ers. I'm starting with Davis Allen. So Davis Allen, we know the potential, the catch radius that he has, but he was called for a holding on a running play for Matthew Stafford that was called back, and they ended up settling for a field goal in that situation. So that's not what you want to see. A holding in the red zone that really limits your chances of getting six. Just not the best game for Davis Allen. Then Cooper Kupp. So Cooper Kupp, he's not washed. He still has a lot of talent, a lot left in the tank. He helps the team in a lot of different ways. And I do want to point out that as a run blocker, he was still big in the run game. And I think at this point, you just expect that from Cooper Kupp. So when he's out there just doing things that most receivers don't do, you kind of don't appreciate as much because of how great he was in 2021 as a just receiver with the production. But still, the run blocking was still really, really good. He was targeted just 3 times, but he didn't get a catch. Just didn't get a catch. It was just the third time in his career that he did not get at least one catch in a game. So not the best game for Cooper Kupp, but the offense as a whole, it was just a different game. The weather, the field, I'm not going to take too much away from Cooper Kupp not getting a catch in this one. I think you'll see the production get back to where we've seen it for most of this season. And Demarcus Robinson also had no catches. And the one target that he got went right through his hands. There's a play along the sidelines where, yeah, it was a tough catch, but still that's one that he's capable of making. So not a great night for him as well. And then Matthew Stafford. So Matthew Stafford did not have his best game, but they still won. So I think that's encouraging. But earlier in this one, I mean, there were some throws that were nearly picked off. There was one that bounced right off of Fred Warner's chest, and the 49ers had another one that ends up falling to the ground that ends up as an incompletion that was almost picked off later in the game. So he had 2 turnover-worthy plays. He went 16 for 27 for 160 yards, and that definitely a little bit of a concern, but in the second half, he did start to find a rhythm, and once he starts to find a rhythm, you know that he's going to get hot, and he's going to start to feel it. So towards the end of the game, much better for Matthew Stafford. Some big completions. The one to Colby Parkinson to get the first down. He wasn't too many deep shots in this one. Tutu had a nice catch as well that helped, and he was still targeting Puka Nacua throughout. So, yeah, I'm not overly concerned about Stafford. I think this Rams team just did what they had to do and proved they could win an ugly football game. And typically when you win a ugly football game, it means that your quarterback didn't throw for 300-plus yards or go crazy like that. So I'm fine with it, but we just hold Stafford to such a high standard that when he's throwing for less than 200 yards, you kind of have to point it out. But, hey, I have no doubt about Stafford. I'm going to war with him in the playoffs better than pretty much any quarterback in the National Football League right now, and I think that he's going to elevate as we get closer to the playoffs and into the playoffs, knowing that he doesn't have that many opportunities left in his career, right? I mean, there's more yesterdays than tomorrows in the career of Matthew Stafford. I think that he realizes that. I think we're going to see his best football down the stretch. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.